Hey, investors. So in this episode of the Investor Lab, we covered a topic called market surfing, how to ride the waves in real estate. Now, this is very important if you're listening to this because at the time of recording, we are currently going through a market shift. And largely we're in uncharted territories. And because of that, a lot of people have got a lot of questions and a lot of concerns. And if you're listening to this podcast, I'm sure that you share some of those questions and concerns. So this is going to be extremely valuable to you. It's a slightly shorter episode than normal, but it really hits straight to the point. Now, if you are an investor currently, or you're thinking about investing, you're just starting your journey, or you're well further along, this is going to be super relevant for you. We touch on topics such as what happens if property prices go down, or what happens if I can't find a tenant, or I have tenants and they can't pay. What happens if I lose my job? Or what happens if I'm financially ready and I'm looking to make the most of the opportunities that are at hand? So in this, we cover a range of different scenarios and options you have available to you in this environment, but also we touch on how to elevate your thinking into principles-based thinking rather than tactics-based thinking, which is what's going to help you move fluidly through this environment and to succeed over the long term. So the biggest takeaways from here, I think, is really about understanding how to find the answers within yourself and understand how to move and shape yourself to the environment. And we also touch on some great resources that are going to be available to you to help guide you through this process. We also talk about why, at the moment, more than ever, the Holy Trinity strategy is the most powerful strategy that you can use in your real estate journey, and why it's more important than ever to make sure that if you are seizing the opportunities in this current environment, that you follow robust principles and make sure you do your homework so you don't end up buying something that is cheap but is not going to give you a good benefit in the long term. So if you wanted to find out more about some of these principles that we cover, you can grab a copy of my book. Head to www.renegadespropertybook.com. Grab a copy there. It's free. All you need to do is pay for the shipping, and I'll cover the cost of the book. That's my gift to you. And also, you can join our Facebook group at www.facebook.com/groups/the Investor Lab and join a community of like-minded individuals just like yourself, all seeking to create a life of freedom, choice, and abundance. And if you like this show and you think it benefits you and helps you and you enjoy it in any way, then please subscribe. And of course, share it with somebody else who may benefit from it too. We're about helping people here, and I hope that you can help us help more people and reach them too. Thanks so much, and I'll see you on the inside. Well, what an interesting world we live in right now. So I wanted to record this. This is going to be a podcast episode, but I decided to go live on my Facebook, live in our Facebook group, and really just try and get the message out in as many ways as possible. There's obviously a lot of fear in the marketplace right now. So I wanted to create this podcast episode to help people realign their thinking, right? Because in times like this, elevating your thinking is really what's going to help the most in getting perspective. See, the way I like to think about it right now is we can't ride our position in tactics. We need to ride our position in principles and values. So the specific topic of today, the specific topic of this discussion that I want to have is market surfing, how to ride the waves in real estate. So right now, at the beginning of this recording, we're at the beginning of a market correction. Exactly how this is going to unfold, I think, is a little unclear. But what we can do and what we can focus on is our thinking and our perspective. And to that degree, I wanted to hit on a few points. I wanted to touch on some stuff that a few people have been speaking to me about and asking me about over the past few days. And I thought it'd be super relevant. Now, that's an interesting thing because in today's current environment, it is impossible to stay relevant even a few hours ahead. You know, the world is shifting at such a rapid pace. We recorded a podcast episode last week and already the information in it is out of date. We recorded some stuff on the weekend and already it is out of date. So here's the thing. The world's in a state of shift. and change. And, I've got people on my Facebook Live right now from the UK saying they're in lockdown, and, there's a lot shifting right now. And so I really wanted to touch on a few things to just really help anyone that's investing in real estate to elevate their thinking and to gain better perspective, because I think that's what's really going to help right now. True wealth is built from the inside out, not from the outside in. So we need to go inside to make sure that we can overcome these challenges together. So my first message is that if you have just purchased a property or you're just about to settle on a property, do not panic. Do not fear. We're all in this together. It's not like, there's a couple of things I want to touch on. What if property prices go down? What if I can't get a tenant? What opportunities do we have here? So if you're interested in any of that kind of stuff, just stick around and we're going to cover all of that kind of stuff. And there's some really interesting things I want to talk about as we go. But right now, I just want to put it out there that there is a lot of confusion and stress and overwhelm. We're going to do a separate podcast episode purely on how to overcome and how to control overwhelm and how to control uncertainty in your life. But I really want to focus on real estate right now. So I'm going to stick with that. The thing is, we're all in this together. At the moment, the market is correcting and shifting, and there's a lot of volatility. But it's not like you have gone and made some bad financial decisions and you're watching the world pass you by, whilst you drown. This is happening to everyone. It would be remiss and irresponsible for me to not recognize the fact that there are people that are facing unemployment. There are businesses that are facing challenges. And there are all of these economic conditions that are happening right now. But it's not the end of the world. So just remember, the temperature of the room is the same for everyone. You got to work with it, not against it. These things are going to fluctuate and you need to roll with it. You need to be like water. You need to shape yourself to the environment and do not try and get the environment to shape itself to you, because that doesn't work. So biggest thing right now is people asking, what if property prices go down? So let's just talk about this. If you've just bought a property or if you're just about to settle on a property, have you made a mistake? Well, the answer is no. Okay. So firstly, I'd like to point out that property prices likely will go down. Let's be realistic here. Let's be pragmatic. I'm not here to be some, ruthless optimist where I'm like, oh, it's the best time in the world to buy, let's go. We are in a state of volatility. And that requires ruthless pragmatism, not ruthless optimism. We need to understand where we're at, where we're going, what we can control and what we can't, and how to respond in this kind of an environment. That's what matters most. Okay, so if we accept the property prices likely will go down, that's cool, but they will never stay down. Right? That is a statistical improbability. Nothing's impossible, as we've seen in this world, but it's a statistical improbability. So let's say you bought a property right now, today. Let's say you settled on it right now, today, and you woke up next week and it had dropped by 10%. Well, how much have you really lost? Let's say you bought a $500,000 house. How much have you really lost if it dropped by 10%? I ask a lot of people that question. I've asked a lot of people that question in the last week. And a lot of people would say, oh, $50,000. Well, actually, no. Not exactly. See, let's just assume that you've put a 10% deposit on that property. You currently have a 10% equity stake in that property. And if you bought it today and it goes down by 10% in the next week, you've really only lost $5,000. That's at least one vector on which to look at it. But the other way to think about it is, as well, is let's talk about the swing. Are you investing in property for a 10% or a 20% gain? No, you're here for a longer game. And volatility is always going to happen. If you buy real estate thinking that it is only ever going to be on a steep upward incline, I think you're making a mistake. Just in the same way that if you go into business and assume that you are going to be profitable every single month from the day that you open, I think you're making a mistake. You need to understand how to shape shift and how to move and how to surf these waves and these tides, because the world is always going to change. That is the only thing that we do know, is the world is always going to change. So we need to have certainty and we need to take a longer term view. We need to play a long game. And so don't panic about short-term volatility if you're playing a long game. If you zoom out far enough, if you look at a close-up of a record, if you look at a super close-up of a record, a vinyl record, you're going to see it's jagged and it looks like the Himalayas. It's all over the place. But when you zoom out and listen to what comes out of it, it is beautiful music, okay? And I think that this is a really great analogy to think about what is happening right now. Yes, things are shifting, but zoom out far enough and you'll find that there is nothing to fear. In terms of securing a tenant, yes, people still need places to live. And yes, there is going to be increased unemployment. But right now, in Australia, there is government stimulus. There is, all kinds of stuff that is designed to help people through these times. No one's going this alone. We're all in this together. Again, this is not like if you've lost your job, it's not like you going and losing your job and everybody else is going great and you're on your own. That is just not happening. We're all here together. And so right now there's government stimulus packages designed to help both tenants, landlords, everyone stay afloat, businesses, the whole lot. So try and maintain perspective. Okay, so if you've just bought a property, I'm just going to reiterate that again. If you've just bought a property or just about to settle on a property, do not fear. If you have bought with the right fundamentals, if you have bought with the right principles, if you have bought with the right strategy, and that deal made sense a week ago, it is still going to make sense in the future. So do not fear if you've bought well, and do not fear about whether you're going to get a tenant or not. Because at the moment, there are stuff like mortgage freezers, there's different stimulus packages, there's safety nets that are designed to help and protect you and the tenants and the rest of us over the long term. So, and here's the other thing as well. If you have lost your job and you have purchased correctly, it shouldn't be too much of an issue. I guess just taking a little loop back, everything that Gabby and I talk about in property is based on our own experience of buying the wrong property at the wrong time. We bought a property at the peak of the Melbourne market and it pretty much lost value straight away. So everything that we talk to people about in real estate is based around, 3 core principles, which are designed specifically for environments like this. We talk about cash flow positive properties in high growth areas with value add potential. And the reason you have all 3 is to cushion these kind of scenarios. It is what happens if the market takes a dip and I lose some equity. Well, you're going to be able to hold that property. What if I lose my job? Well, if it's cash flow positive, it should cover all of its own debt and expenses. What happens if the market stays flat for a while? What happens if I don't see any growth for a while? Well, that's why we have value add strategies. And it's more important than ever. It is absolutely critical right now to understand these 3 principles and how they work together. Only having 2 or only having 1 is not a robust strategy. And I think that's where we're going to see people having problems in this environment. So I urge you and I encourage you to understand those principles for yourself and for your future portfolio. Okay. I guess my overarching message is do not lose hope. There is an exciting time ahead of us. And I think that for those who have just made a decision, congratulations, you're still on the right path. Do not panic. Some people are talking about just ditching their deposits and backing out of purchases. I strongly don't recommend that, right? Because you're just going to be leaving money on the table that is going to rebound later on. But the other thing is, what if you're ready to take action? Because I've actually found a lot of people like that too, and maybe you're one of them yourself. What if you're ready to go and you want to seize the opportunity that is rising up in front of us? Well, it's no secret that we're entering into a period of great opportunity for those who are ready, willing, and able. Now, it's very challenging right now to say the word opportunity without being thought of as a bad person. I like to think about this as ethical opportunism. This is not about profiting from other people's misery. This is not about profiting from other people's fear or failure. This is using the resources that you have at hand in line with your existing strategy, your existing vision and values of where you want to go and why you want to get there, the impact that you want to have and the reach you want to have, and using those resources to the best and most effective way that you can. Okay? So there's nothing bad about that, and do not feel bad about wanting to take that opportunity, because you might actually just be helping somebody else who is in need and needs to move on from whatever they're doing, whether it be in business or real estate. There are ways to do this without being ruthless and without being brutal, and I think that's really important to consider. So, as it stands, we're already seeing some pretty big changes in the higher price points in the market, and I think that we are going to see some really interesting opportunities opening up over the coming weeks. The secret here is to make sure you're ready. If you're sitting on the sidelines thinking, is this an opportunity for me to potentially, if I have a secure job and I already have savings, what should I do moving ahead? Get your financial house in order. Get your refinancing done. Go and speak to your mortgage broker. Go and get your finance team ready, because when it's time to act, you're going to need to act quickly. But more than ever, you need to focus on the fundamentals, because it's an opportunity for you to also make a lot of mistakes. And I think that there's more than ever, you need to make sure that you're investing in properties which are going to be underpinned by robust fundamentals. Otherwise, on the rebound, you're going to be finding that you probably don't have an asset that's going to be performing in the way you want. You're just going to have bought something cheap. And right now, I don't think that is what is going to be setting people up for a robust future, even if you do get some swing gains. Okay, I hope that this has been beneficial in some way, because I know that a lot of people have got a lot of questions out there. I haven't gone super deep on this because everything's shifting. I just wanted to try and give a few different kind of thinking paradigms. Now, I'm just going to check in our Facebook group and see if there's any questions in there before I wrap it up. If you've got any questions, fire them to me on Facebook and I will answer them now. Okay, cool. Sweet. Well, guys, I think that I'm going to wrap it up for here. I'm going to try and do quite a few more of these updates because a lot is changing in the current environment. And I think that what we need most right now is certainty, compassion, clarity, connection, and of course, leadership. And I want to be able to be that voice in the room that is going to give you some of that kind of stuff. So if there is any way that I can support you, if you are feeling stressed out and if you don't know what to do or how to act or how to think about this current environment, I encourage you to reach out and connect. And it doesn't have to be about real estate. I want to extend that to anyone who's feeling challenged in this current environment. It's challenging for us all, and I think it's a really unique opportunity for us to all rise up together in a seat of empathy and share with each other the skills and assets that we all have inside of ourselves. Now, if you are ready to seize an opportunity and you're financially ready and you want to do something in real estate and you're looking ahead and you're going, okay, cool, should I do something now? Fantastic. Reach out and speak to me, shoot me a message, or head to www.dashdot.com.au. Reach out. Let's connect. Let's have a chat. It may or may not be the right time for you, and I'll be happy to give you that clear advice and guidance. If you are listening to this and you are wondering, okay, how can I understand more about the Holy Trinity? How can I understand more about how to define my vision, values, goals, perspectives of the future, etc., then I encourage you to get a copy of my book. Head to www.renegadespropertybook.com. Grab a copy there. I'll send it to you. I think we're having a few delays with shipping at the moment due to the current environment, but I'll be more than happy to send you an audio book and ebook whilst we're getting the shipping sorted. So check that out. And if you have any questions, please don't hesitate to reach out. And remember, everything needs to stay in perspective. We're all in this together. And any way that I can help you, I will. Take care.